Thank you for going first.
I was volunteered. So, I'm Jay Maddock. So, for those of you up on the hill, there's actually a West Randolph in Randolph. The Randolph extends beyond Skates Corner and actually beyond Lowe's. There's a couple miles of Randolph down that way. And by Bowman, interesting enough is, for those who bike will know, is Bowman is actually in the same elevation, is actually higher than Skates Corner elevation. 1,500 foot contour goes through that and also goes north there. So we actually should be in the Midlands there, if we were doing it by elevation. But one important thing about us there at Bowman was the railroad. It was always part of growing up there. When we were kids, you'd always hear it every night. And my dad would tell stories about when the steam trains would come up. There's actually a helper engine from Gorham would help push the train up to Bowman, which is a high to land. And there was 3 passengers and 2 freights, and there's a passing siding at Bowman. And they try and, sometimes the freight would be too long, and they would have to set torpedoes, they called, on the track. Train would run over, and they go bam, bam, so you could hear it, so you could hear the train coming up, hear them go off, you hear the trains whistling back and forth, so they could pull the passenger train through, bring the freight past on the siding, and then keep going. Also, there's just talking to Judy last night, so they also played a game. We'd always try and walk the rails, and they'd try and walk the rails, and it'd be the date spikes. They had a maintenance program, so they had nailed in the spikes with a date when they put in the tie. And you could step down, if you could step down on your birthday year. So 35 and 33 were okay to step down on. So when I grew up, it was all diesel, and I still remember laying in bed in the morning. You had the westbound train in the morning about 7, and then the eastbound train come into Gorham about 5 or 6 in the evening. So the morning train, you'd hear them rumbling up, and then you could hear them blow at Jefferson, and if the wind was the right way, you could hear them blow at Meadows also. Evening was much more exciting because we hear the rumble of the train, the dog would start barking, we'd run around, and then we'd run down past the spring up onto a bluff where we couldn't go any further than that because you didn't go down the tracks, but you could watch the train come by, wait for him to come around the corner, and then try and get him to blow his whistle. And actually met an engineer there who'd done that running. Remember us kids always sitting up there blowing the whistle for us. Then growing up, we just learned to walk the rails all the time, and still I think it helps to balance just walking and jumping between rail and rail, and then also collecting all the odds and ends. My parents claim we could build about 10 miles of railroad with the amount of stuff we dragged back between the bolts and those date spikes. And actually now we still have a pretty good collection of date spikes from the trains, from the 20s all the way through the 50s when they stopped the program. One interesting little side effect is you can see in the war years they actually got smaller because they're using less metal along that time. So we grew up with it. It was very sad to see them go. However, we still call it the tracks. We talk about going down the tracks. We use it for skiing and running, walking the dogs. And sometimes with the diesels coming around the corner on Route 2, big train, big truck, I'll still sort of think, well, maybe it's a train, maybe you can run down there. Thanks.